Today, Iran is ramping up its strikes on Arab neighbors, targeting Gulf energy hubs after Israeli forces attacked an oil field in Tehran. The latest strikes by Iran threatening to drag America's regional allies into the conflict. And here now, Ruthie Blum, senior contributing editor for the Jewish News Syndicate and former advisor to the office of Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. Welcome to you and thank you. First of all, Iran has responded by targeting these oil and gas hubs throughout the region. Is this becoming more of an economic war over energy versus a military conflict? How do you see it?
Well, I think it's both. But first and foremost, I want to say, and I think this is also relevant to the visit by the Prime Minister of Japan. If you view preemption as aggression, you're already looking at this the wrong way. And if you're looking at what you call retaliation or we didn't start this war, no, Iran started this war. The United States didn't start this war and Israel didn't start this war. Preempting nuclear bombs, and also, let's not forget, there are many arenas in this war, and Iran is the head of the octopus of all of them. And I'd also like to add that Japan, it's not only that Japan gets most of its oil through the Straits of Hormuz, but Japan is concerned about China and Taiwan, China taking over Taiwan. So Japan has a self-defensive interest in helping the United States in this effort.
There has been reluctance, Ruthie, as you point out, from a number of nations, and our reporter just laid out who they are and what they've said. What's your understanding as to why they sit on the sideline?
Well, look, we know, if we're going to talk about Europe, for example, we know that Europeans don't like to fight wars. And by the way, Americans don't either. If you consider how long it took the United States to enter World War II, you can understand it right there. Now, nobody likes to go to war. But what we've seen also with Europe is that Europe has traditionally allowed the United States to do the job while it sits back. I mean, we used to make jokes, while the French are deciding which glass to drink which wine in, the United States is securing them. And President Trump has said this has got to stop, especially when you consider that these are countries that are directly affected by what's going on and could easily be affected by a nuclear Iran. But it's not just nukes that we're worried about. You realize that Iran has been launching warheads. They're not nuclear so far, but they are cluster bomb warheads. You have to see how these things split up and just hit all over the place. These are very dangerous people, and what is happening so far in under 3 weeks is a total weakening of that evil regime that, by the way, if President Jimmy Carter in 1979 had stepped up to the plate, we wouldn't be in this situation right now.
Let me ask you about the hearing that took place, testimony from top U.S. intelligence officials the last 2 days in Washington. And the Director of National Security, Tulsi Gabbard, seemed to suggest that the U.S. and Israel have differing objectives, that the U.S. objective has been to deplete, destroy, diminish, prevent Iran from being capable of having nuclear weapons, whereas Israel's objective is more regime change. Anything you'd like to add to that?
I totally disagree. Now, it's true, no two countries have identical interests, and that's true of the United States and Israel as well. But anybody who listened to Secretary of War Pete Hegseth's press conference just now, I don't know, a little while ago, could hear that what he was saying is there is total lockstep between Washington and Jerusalem. And the idea is the Trump administration also wants to see regime change in Iran, and so does Israel. It's not that Israel wants to change the regime. Both countries want to facilitate it for the Iranian people, because a regime like that shouldn't have any weapons. Okay, it would be one thing if it were some kind of peaceful regime, but it's not, and it's got to stop. And also the United States and Israel have the same interest when it comes to spreading terrorism around the globe. And let's not forget, Iran calls America the great Satan and Israel the small Satan, and vows to wipe both off the map.
And Iran has suffered some great blows to its senior leadership, intelligence officers, military generals as well. How close to dismantling that power structure are the U.S. and Israel right now? And what is the message to the people of Iran afraid to go out in the streets?
Well, the message has been by President Trump as well. It's not. You have to wait a little bit longer before you take to the streets so you're not gunned down by regime forces. But that's the whole point. In the meantime, Israel and the U.S. have been tackling different aspects of this war in Iran. Israel has been knocking off these leaders and also killing Basij, the voluntary militias that have been, those are the guys on the ground gunning down the innocent people. The idea is that the more of these people you take out and the more of the infrastructure you take out, the greater the possibility for the Iranian people to take to the streets and topple their own regime. And one more point I'd like to add. All of the people who have been saying things like, well, if you kill this leader, we don't know who's going to replace him. This is a false way to look at it. It's almost like you're looking at it from the regime's point of view rather than from the U.S. and Israel's point of view by saying, well, we don't know who's going to take over. And it's as though you want to say, well, we need someone to take over so that we can negotiate some bad deal with that person.
Yeah. Or taking the Iranian people's point of view into account and what they would like to see for their government.
Exactly.
Moving forward.
Yes.
Ruthie, thank you. Appreciate the time.
Thank you so much, Marni, for having me.
Coming up, the finger-pointing blame game continues.